All right, so for this question, we have to pick out two details from the text that reveal that Michael O'Neill, the Vanishing Prince, is arrogant. Now, right off the bat, you need to know what the word arrogant means. And hopefully you do. You probably know that arrogant means proud, cocky, uh, and you can come up with any other word you want to describe someone who's arrogant, but proud is probably the easiest synonym to come up with. So, what helps us find out that Michael is arrogant? We have to really look at two details that stand out from all the rest as showing us his character as being an arrogant person. So let's go through the answer options on this one and figure out which ones show us him being proud, him being arrogant. A, right off the bat, we're looking at on a cloudless summer morning, he had come down a country road, white with dust, and pausing outside a farmhouse. So what's this telling us? It's just telling us that he's walking down a white road and pausing outside a farmhouse. Is there anything that gives us a clue that he's arrogant there? No. On to the next one. B, it says he had told the farmer's daughter with elegant indifference that the local police were in pursuit of him. Here's where it gets a little tricky. What is elegant indifference? We need to know what that means to figure out if it's showing him being arrogant or not. And we really want to look at the interaction between Michael and Bridget as a whole to help us understand how these different actions and their different conversations either show his arrogance or don't. In this case, he's telling her, oh, the police are after me, but it's not a big deal. He's kind of trying to play like he's some stud who is going to get away from the police, have no problem with that. And he's not really paying much attention to her, which is what the word indifference means. It's kind of just not caring. I'm indifferent. I don't care. So he's really just sort of playing, acting cool and pretending like he's not really fazed by her. And he's not fazed by the police. And so does that sound like arrogance? Does that sound like pride to you? It should. Those are clear indications of his arrogance. So B has to be one of our best options. So we want to keep that in mind. C, it says the girl's name was Bridget Royce, a somber and even sullen type of beauty. We've seen this passage before. And she looked at him darkly as if in doubt and said, do you want me to hide you? So C is just Bridget asking Michael if he wants help. Does that show Michael's arrogance? No, how could it? It couldn't possibly show his arrogance because Michael is not really doing anything in this passage. This sentence doesn't tell us anything about Michael. It tells us about Bridget. So C is not a good option. For D, we have to look at this in the context of why is he laughing? Why is he leaping over the stone wall and going towards the farm? What is he responding to? And D is right after Bridget asks him the question, do you want my help, basically? Do you want me to help hide you? So if someone's asking you for help and you just respond with a laugh and then you kind of casually leap over a wall and walk towards the farm, you're kind of blowing them off. You're disregarding them. You're being cocky. You're not engaging with their question, and they're offering you help, and you're kind of dismissing it. So this dismissive attitude, this attitude of, oh, I don't need anyone's help, this should be kind of cluing you into the fact that this is evidence that he's arrogant. And then E, so far B and D are our best options. We have to look at E in case it's overwhelmingly strong as evidence, and then we would have to reconsider B and D. But if we look at E, it's not that convincing. It says in which he proceeding, he acted with a tragic ignorance of the nature of women. So it's saying basically he doesn't understand women's nature. The author is saying at this point they don't like to be rejected. So he didn't understand that, in rejecting Bridget, he was probably going to get himself in trouble later on. And then there's a little bit of foreshadowing there. It says, there fell on his path in that sunshine a shadow of doom. So it's saying basically he's overlooking how much he offended Bridget in this moment. He doesn't understand that she's not going to let that go, that she's going to hold on to that grudge against him. And it's going to be his downfall, his doom in the end. So there's a little foreshadowing there. Does that show his arrogance? No, it shows his ignorance. And that ignorance might be the result of arrogance, but we can't speculate about that. We can't start inventing things. We really just have to look at the evidence for what it is, and whatever the strongest evidence is, that's what we're going with. So the strongest evidence that show him as a proud person, an arrogant person, are B, where it talks about him responding with indifference, dismissing her, not caring about her, and not caring about the fact that the police are chasing him. He's so cocky that he's not even afraid. And D, where he responds to her offer of help by just laughing, leaping over a wall, and walking away, totally ignoring her, showing pride, showing arrogance.